Karibu sana.
Thank
At least
you.
you've told me you understand Karibu sana. Bishop Freda will tell us who she is because she's not Kenyan. But then again, mnajua venye wa Kenya we do it, so we are welcoming.
Thank you so very much.
Who's Bishop Freda?
I always love that question when they ask, who is Freda? Freda is just a little girl, a small girl. A small girl with a big God.
That phrase has been famous in Kenya.
Well, I've been coming to Kenya back and front for close to 8-9 years now. At least I've been to quite a number of counties in Kenya. And I've been to the interior areas, the villages, you know. Kenya has been a very interesting place to be. Each time I come here, I observe each time I'm here, I blow up. You know, when they saw me this year, they said, you came here, you were like this, but now you are like this. I said, because I'm eating too much of ugali and sukuma wiki. You know? You're
not eating fufu and some more?
I can't come to Kenya and begin to eat those meals. So I got to eat chapati and sukuma wiki.
And ugali. That's Kenya. Karibu to Kenya.
Thank you. So Freda is just a woman with 2 kids. She's the founder of Divine Jesus Heals Ministries International. She's also the chairperson of Straight from the Heart, Save a Life, Save a Home. She's a mother of 2. And she travels a lot, you know. She loves traveling. She loves adventuring, you know. So that's who Freda is. Just the brief of me.
Where does Freda's story begin?
Wow. The Lord help me in this one.
Of course, we are seeing the finished product and there's a Freda. Because
the beginning to where I am now, oh, Father, it has been a journey of tears, journey of laughter, journey of pain, all mixed together. And it has made me strong to be who I am. You know, I started, you know, as a young child growing up. You grew up to know that you are different species. You're not like every other child. And people are like, who is she? What kind of a child is this? But I thank God for my parents because they are also pastors. Thank God that they were able to understand the kind of child God gave to them, because God had already told them about me before I was born. So when they begin to see those mysteries, they weren't too surprised anyway, because they just know that this person is a special child. And to cut the story short, I got married late. I'm the firstborn out of 7. My father happens to be a civil servant, a bank manager. My mom, a business tycoon woman that's always traveling around the world. So, as time goes on, Freda started manifesting. And people started saying, are you sure this child is not a witch? Are you sure this child is not something marrying? You know, because I could see things.
What do you mean by manifesting?
When I mean manifesting, you started acting. They begin to see strange attitudes, strange things around you. I could sit here and we're talking, I'll tell you, there's going to be an accident somewhere. Because I'm seeing it. And they're like, the next few minutes, they'll bring back story. This thing just happened at so place. But you just said it now. Don't you think you're a witch? How did you get to know?
You're not okay. You're in a bungee.
What kind of a child is this? Sometimes I might be sleeping and you hear me scream or shout and, you know, I tell them, oh, they should pray, they should pray, they should pray. And they're like, what kind of a child is this? When I give God praise, what kind of a child is this? Is this person that is sitting before you. You understand?
Yes, I do.
So that was how the whole thing, even the man I married, when we were dating, I tell him, sweetheart, don't go out today. This is what I'm seeing. And he's like, come on, get away, you know? And at the end, something happens. How did you know that this is going to happen?
Someone that wants to help your life.
Yeah, because they don't understand this.
Okay.
They see it to be an unusual thing. Even me, myself, I didn't even understood. I don't even understand myself at that moment. I don't even know who I am. All I know is I'm seeing things, and I'm saying it the way it's been seen. And you should understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
So I started understanding myself when I became matured in the Lord. Do you understand me now? So when I started understanding myself, I started understanding myself when I was in my 30s. And I'm like, wow, so this is who I am. And that was how I had to, go deeper to understand who I am. So, and I got married, and, there are things people say. For those that understand spiritual things, will tell you when you have higher calling and your grace is too high, people that are beneath you might not be able to stand you. So maybe that is what really happened between me and my husband, because I went through hell in that marriage. It took me a lot of courage to be able to say, no, I am done. I'm not going to die in it, because it was becoming so abusive. And I went through a lot in that marriage. So I just told myself, no, when I die today and I go up there, God is not going to ask me how many husbands. The only thing I know God is going to ask me is, how many lives did you touch?
Yeah.
So I was like, marriage is just for earthly, so there's no need. Because he had already started saying it. That, you see, this marriage is already torn. You see this, one of us might die in it. But if you ask him, what has Freda done? There's nothing. The fear is, Freda is moving at a high speed.
Okay, and I can't keep up.
You get it now?
Yeah.
Freda has started traveling out internationally. Freda is making money. Freda has 2 cars to her name. Things are working for her. But it's also to your own glory, because if I am successful,
You as my husband,
I've added Fredas to your shoulders.
Yeah.
So why feel that you that fear that this woman is going to supersede or whatever, So that's just it. And I'm just giving you a summary of myself. And that was it. You get it now? So I had to walk away with my 2 kids. And before I had those 2 kids, I knew what I went through also in that marriage, because I had 16 miscarriages. Yeah.
What?
I had 16 miscarriages. I didn't even take note of that until a day.
1, 2, 3, 4,
16. Yeah. The person
My
sitting
Lord.
before you. When I mean 16, okay, let me even give you
16.
this too.
You mean 16 miscarriages?
I had 15 miscarriages with blood, with 3 months old fetus in your womb. You see it come out live.
Ooh, Jesus.
Then the 16th one, I was 5 months gone. And I woke up one morning, my stomach was as flat as this. Yeah.
What do you mean?
That is the truth.
5 months,
And
you wake up and you're not pregnant. How?
My stomach was full. And I ran to my pastor. And everybody was shocked. What happened? What happened? And she started praying. When she was praying.
let me catch it. You've lost 15 babies.
15.
Then after losing 15, the 16th
one,
you're 5 months pregnant. You wake up one morning
I said
and it is not there.
Disappeared. My stomach was flat. You understand me? And I went to my pastor, And I said to her, and she prayed. She was like, let's pray for the baby to come back to your womb. I said, I don't need.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. Let me laugh.
No, you're free. But it's my true story. At that time, it was pain. Now I'm saying it, I'm laughing. You understand me?
Yeah.
And you can imagine what I went through that period.
So did you guys pray? What happened when you prayed?
And she was praying and she wanted, I had to stop her. I said, Mama, no. Let them go with it because I don't want an imbecile child. A child that they've started toiling with spiritually. Then if I allow the child to come into this womb, who will suffer it? I will give birth, I maybe give birth to something, you know. But what was giving me courage in that marriage was like, there are so many women out there that have never had pregnancy or miscarriages. But I was having it. But let me even give you this so that you understand why the miscarriages were taking place.
Okay.
They found out that I was having uterine fibroid,
Okay.
according to them, because there was no fibroid in my womb before I got married.
Okay.
Because these are tests we ran, you know.
Okay, yes.
If your womb is okay, if you have this, if you do,
Yeah.
I don't know if they do it here in Kenya, but
Yes,
in
they
Nigeria
do.
we do it. So there was nothing. But then why would I have uterine fibroid
After you got
after
married.
I got married at the age of 30?
So before you got married, you were fine. You didn't have
Nothing
no
was wrong with
fibroids,
me.
No nothing. Okay. So after you got married, you
When I
now
got
have
married-
uterine fibroids.
And we were like, what is going on? And we went for a checkup again, and they said uterine fibroid. They said multiple uterine fibroid. And I looked at the gynecologist. I said, is that what you saw? He said, yes. I said, well, not my womb. He said, but that's what they see. So well, they should prepare me for a section. And I said, okay. I lied. I told them my husband wasn't around. My husband traveled. Do you know why? Because I don't want
You didn't want
I
the...
don't want anything like that.
Okay.
So they said, okay. And that was it. So before we knew what was happening, the doctors were shocked. Because according to medical terms, they said a woman that is having uterine fibroid is not supposed to be pregnant because it's right at the...
Uterus.
You understand? But in my own case, I was getting pregnant.
So, it's interesting. You've never had uterine fibroids. You've gotten married. You now have uterine fibroids. You're not supposed to be pregnant,
Not.
and now you're pregnant.
Pregnant.
Okay.
You see, are you seeing
Yes.
this
yes.
unusual being?
The inconsistencies. Yes.
You understand? So, and before we knew what was happening, another pregnancy came. And I was like, Father, is this the same old story? And I had an encounter. I had an encounter with Jesus where he told me what and what and what, you know. And I said, okay. And that was how I got to know that the baby in my womb was going to be a male child because a name was given to me in the realm of the spirit for him. You know, it was like I was interacting with him. And I said, this name, it seems it's a new name. And what name is it? Greek or Hebrew? And he said, it's an Hebrew name. I said, but it sounds maish name. He said, yes. That was how I got to know that the baby in my womb was going to be a boy. And I said, okay. I woke up that year. And to be precise, I think it was March, forgotten the date. Then I had to jot it down. And I kept it to myself. And the time came I had my baby. In fact, there were so many stories about Freda.
So that was when you had your baby. That was after the 16 miscarriages.
Yeah.
Okay.
After the 16, then I had another pregnancy came.
Okay.
That's to tell you I'm very fertile.
Okay.
You understand now?
Yes, I
so
do.
before we knew what was happening, I became pregnant. And from one problem to another, from one problem to another, until the 9th month, God did what he knows how to do best. I brought forth a child. It was a male child. The person I'm talking to you about now is a big boy. He's in the university, almost rounding up, yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he's in his 20s. You understand? So then 3 years
After.
I did it that way because I needed to rest. So I had another one
Okay.
who happens to be a boy.
Okay.
He's a professional footballer.
Valentine can understand.
So you get it now.
Yes.
So I don't know. It's stories upon stories of me. I've gone through
It's okay.
I've gone through rejections.
Uh-huh.
I've been lied upon. Too many things. Too many things. I don't even know where and how. I'm just summarizing the whole story. Too many things had happened in the ministry. In my personal life, a lot of things had happened, but it has kept me going. Because I found out that if such things didn't happen to me, I wouldn't have not acknowledged the power and the authenticity of who God is.
So, at what point did you decide, I've had enough of this marriage? At what point did you get the courage to get out?
Wow, sweetheart. When that point came, it took me 2 years. It took me 2 years to summon courage to get away. Because when you are in a marriage where you are not respected, where they talk down on you, they don't see anything good happening in your life, they see you as a mistake, you don't even have a voice. You can imagine what that will do to you. That even when you go out there, when you're coming back home, your heart begins to pound heavily. Oh God, what am I going to meet again at home? What am I going to face this time around? Sometimes when I travel out of the country, you see me, Freda is so happy, so energetic, and all of a sudden, it's getting towards the time to come back home. You're like, oh God, I wish they didn't. You understand?
Yeah.
And at the end, you come back, coming to meet a tiger. There's nothing you do that is pleasant.
Pleasant, yeah.
You try to make the marriage work,
It doesn't work.
you're killing yourself because the more you try, the more the thing, you get it now. To the extent they start hitting you and tell you, Freda, I'm going to maim you. And I'm like, God, what's going on? It got to a stage, a day I was even playing my Candy Crush, and all of a sudden he came back around 11 p.m. that night. My first son was sleeping. I have an adopted daughter.
Okay.
I'm a grandmother now. She's big. She's a big girl. She's married. So my daughter was still awake with me in the living room. My little baby was the third born, because I would say my third born, was sleeping, and the first one was sleeping, and all of a sudden he came in. We weren't talking to each other, and all of a sudden he just came and used his foot and hit me on my chest. I will never forget that night. Yeah.
Jesus.
What you weren't expecting anything, because you were not having issues with them.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you were busy with your phone playing your Candy Crush. And somebody just comes and said, Freda, I'm going to tell you that I am this, I am that, I will maim you, I will do this. And the next thing, his foot on your chest, whoom, on your chest. Jesus. If I wasn't a strong woman, maybe that day would have been my end. Because I was sitting in a puff, I wasn't sitting on the seat. Because I love sitting in a puff. And I managed to get up from that point. And my baby girl was shouting, Daddy, leave mommy alone. That woke my first son up. You can imagine a child of 5 or 6 years old could come out to the living room to see his father trying to strangle me, and says to him, Daddy, if you don't leave my mommy now, I will kill you. So you can imagine.
These things are reality. You don't even see them on the
can't
movies.
come on air and begin to lie.
I'm just imagining that this is actually something that is happening to someone, and we see it on movies and we think it's just on movies.
No, don't doubt it. It's happening.
Wow.
I'm a living testimony or living story.
So what happened?
Do you get it now?
Yes, I do.
And my first son said to him, Dad, if you don't leave my mommy now, I will kill you. That frightened him, including me, because you can never expect,
a 5-year-old,
a 5-year-old boy at that time to voice out such word. And that's awakened us. And I got up and I said, no, this is it. I'm so done. Initially, I was afraid. The reason why most people are afraid getting out of abusive marriage is because of culture. Culture has crippled a lot of people and it has also killed a lot of people. For the 2 years I told you I had to wait to summon this courage, I was like, how do I tell my parents I'm getting out of this mess? How do I talk to my father or talk to my mom? How would they take it because of who they are as pastors in Redeemed Christian Church of God? They were known, and my father is a top guy in Redeemed. How do I? And I was like, God, I couldn't bear it anymore. And I took up that courage and I went to my mom. And I was happy my dad was not home. And I was in my father's bedroom with my mom. And I was talking. We didn't know my father had come back. So he was eardropping at what I was talking. I was saying to my mom. And the moment I said it, my mom was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. How will I tell your father about this? How is, things.
Yeah.
And my father walked in and said, is it now your eyes are open? I was like, Jesus, that means they've been noticing. Because I have never told them my story. I had never told them what I was going through.
So you were suffering in silence because you're afraid of
And you know the funniest
stigma?
thing? I am there. If you come to my house now, you think all is well because that is the best time, the time I call, sweethearts, sweethearts. And I am dying. Sweetheart, because
but when we are there, you're sweeting your husband.
Because I don't want you to understand that there's something going on in the house. I don't want to give the impression that there's something going on. So it's sweetheart and sweetheart, But when you leave, after your tent all Israel, everybody goes back to their share. So I didn't know my parents were seeing what I thought I was hiding. And when my father said that word, my siblings said, sister, we are at your back. That was what gave me the courage. Because I was like, I have failed them. That was what I was thinking. But when I saw a family that, because we are like this in my home, we are best of friends. So the moment they said to me, sis, don't worry, we're at your back. That gave me the courage.
The courage. Because the people you are afraid of.
And I said, okay, if my family are not condemning it, then I'm good to go. But there was another thing. The church.
The church, yes.
Because I used to have a place of worship.
Yeah.
That is well known. And I'm like, God.
And you're in the limelight, everyone knows you.
God, what do I do? But God gave me wisdom. That even people didn't know something was wrong. I never talked about it. I never showed it. They know I travel a lot. So within that period, I moved my kids. I moved them from Nigeria to Ghana. And that was how I left. So every other person... That was
how you left Nigeria?
That was how I left Nigeria, and that was how I... So every other person in the ministry and every other place, we are thinking, oh, she had traveled for her missions. That was the wisdom God gave. So nobody knows. Even as I'm talking to you up to date, I've been single for 12 years now.
Wow.
I've been with my kids. They are my husbands. They are my boyfriend. They are my everything. And they keep telling me, Mom, we don't want you to go into any other one because we knew what Daddy did to you. We don't want anybody to do that to you. And I keep telling them, all men are not the same. Yeah. But surprisingly, the same man came back last year. Wanting me to come back.
Wanting what?
Came back was it last year? No, last 2 years, December, I was in Nigeria, and he found out I was in Nigeria. And he was like, do you know I still love you? I said,
love what?
Love what? Do you know you are still my wife? I said, God forbid.
To fear God. God forbid that I should be married to you.
And his siblings, his younger sisters, kept calling me, begging me that he's regretting what he did. He's doing this.
12 years later.
And I'm like, oh, really? And they tried to blackmail me. You know, you are a woman of God. Why? I said, hey,
hold it
don't
there.
go there. I'm a human. I'm a woman of God. Doesn't mean I'm not human. There's blood that runs in my vein.
Wow.
A lot
The
of
shade.
let me be frank with you. A lot of pastors are suffering, be it male or female. They are dying. But I took up that courage to say, no, I'm done. So done. Because if I die in that marriage today, my kids would be suffering. Maybe where they are today, they won't be there. Because no woman will take care of your child the way you would take care of. So you see, somebody that is not seeing good in me, that says nothing good can come out of me. Somebody, a lot of things had happened to me, sweetheart. I've gone through hell. Is it among your fellow minister friends that will talk down against you, lie against you, because maybe the grace you carry is more efficient, you know?
Yeah, those jealousies, they're also here.
Striving, you know, rejection. When they see that you have a vision you want to carry out, maybe you don't have the money to carry out the vision, somebody comes to hijack it from you and run it and put you to a side. I've seen a lot, sweetheart.
Wow.
I've seen.
Wow.
I'm just giving you, you know, the skeleton of my story.
So what happened when they said he wants to come back? What did you do?
What else do you expect me to do? You want me to go back to the same vomit? Maybe this time around I'll be sleeping, they kill me.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing, Bishop. I'm sorry.
No, but it's the truth. So I'm talking to young ladies that are out there. Maybe they are married or they are into relationship. I keep telling people, don't go into relationship with this. Go it with this. And if it's too much, put sorry to say this, man, put the men here. When they are too heavy, you pull. You drop them.
Drop.
But the truth is just the truth. And that is where the truth, you see where this straight from the heart, Save a Life, Save a Home came from. I didn't know I was going to go through this stuff. When God gave me, I was having my shower that morning, because when I'm taking my bath, I love singing. And most times God gives me messages when I'm in the bathroom. So I had the Lord spoke about this. I waved it, thinking it was my thought. It came 3 times, and I was like, God, what are you trying to say to me? He said, yes. Teach them how to be victorious. Teach them how to come out from, you know, and how to be independent. Because for me, I never depended on him. I was doing something. If he brings 50, I bring 30. If he brings 30, I bring 10 or 15, you know, to complement. Sometimes I pay the kids school fees. I buy their textbooks. I buy clothes for them. So I'm not a liability. So let it not be okay, maybe because he is shouldering everything. That is why he's behaving the way he was behaving. And another advice I'm going to give young ladies out there is this. Never you date a man that is on the floor.
Yeah.
And try to raise him up. Because if the same person you raise up will turn back and hit you. That was my story. Do you understand me?
Yes.
He was nobody. We started from the scratch.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah. He was squatting with his elder brother when he came back from abroad. He was deported. And we met. You understand me?
Yes.
And we started the relationship. The relationship lasted for 3 years before we got married. So it was about the time of us getting married. That was when money came into him. We rented a 2-bedroom apartment. So some of my stuffs I use as a single babe, I had to push them there. You know, because
you actually gave him some of the things to start life with.
No, because the home was our first home. He was squatting. When money came, that was the money we used for the marriage, and also got a 2-bedroom apartment. So definitely there was nothing. So I was living in a 2-bedroom before I met him. So most of the things I had to push them to the house so that it won't be empty.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So we started life from the scratch. We were sitting on the floor, on the bare floor, on the rug, watching TVs and all. And we were happy. Let me be frank with you. We were best of friends. We put music, we dance. I don't know if you get that
Yes,
picture.
I do. Yes, I do.
Then all of a sudden, 5 months into the marriage, it was something else. So I said, no, I need to pray. I even lost my job after my marriage.
Wow.
Yeah, I lost my job. His business. So I was in wilderness for 5 good years with him. No food, nothing, you get it. Surviving from my late mom and my late spiritual mother, because they were the ones surviving me, sending me money, sending me food stuff. These were the things I went through. So Freda didn't just come like this. I went through pains. I went through process. You get it now? And I keep crying. I keep praying for him, sowing seed on his behalf. The little they give to me, I go and sow seed on his behalf in the church. Father, bless my husband. Open his doors for him.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing.
No,
so the little you've been given, you're giving to church.
Yeah.
To sow seed for him.
On his
to
behalf,
be blessed.
so that he can be blessed. Because if he's blessed, I will be blessed. You get it now?
Yes, I do.
So those were the things I did for him without him knowing.
Yeah.
Then a day came, a neighbor of mine said to me, let us bet and see where you make 10 naira in this compound. I was like, wow, so you are the one that has been doing this to me.
Yeah.
And I had to go for 3 days, 3 days prayers. 3 days midnight prayers. The first day was warfare, second day was warfare. The third day, I said I must kill this person.
Bishop, you're so funny.
But I'm just telling you the reality. I said I'm going to kill this person. And God said to me audibly that night, he said, praise me. I've answered you. I said, no. I gave myself 3 days warfare. And I must complete the warfare. And God said, I have answered you. And that was when God started. Not up to 2 weeks, God opened his doors. When I mean opened his doors stupidly, let me use that word. You know when they say somebody, boom, money all over. You won't believe it. I was having low cuts because there was no money to go to the salon. So I didn't want people to understand that I don't have money for my hair. So, hey, you are your local. Yes, that's what my husband wants. It's poverty. Poverty.
Poverty is making you cut your hair.
I have to cut hair because I don't want you. That's why it's even good too when you have money, buy good clothes, good bag, good shoes. I had clothes. So I was wearing good things but no money in my pockets. And I've been mocked. People mocked me. It's the truth. People really mocked me. They mocked me by saying she goes to church from Monday to Sunday, nothing to show for it. No child, no money, nothing. Sometimes nothing in my kitchen. And I go stand in the kitchen and begin to prophesy. You kitchen, no matter what, before the end of the day, I must cook on this gas. And God is so faithful. No. The reason why I am saying what I'm saying, I was using my story to encourage others, is because, number one, in it, God's hand was in it. God was preparing me for my today. God was teaching me stuff that I need to know, so that when people come to me to share their pain, I will understand where they're coming from and where they're going to end. Yeah. You get it now? So at the end of it all, what happened? Food will come, and I will cook, we will eat. God has been faithful. You understand me now? So that is just my story. You can see. If you ask me to write books, my books, God Almighty, my books will get to is it edition they call it? I didn't go to school, but I went to book. Edition 1, 2, 3, up to 10 if care is not taken. If I want to give my full life story.
How did these things shape your character and your personality?
Okay. The first time I left, Freda became...
How many times did you leave? They say a woman leaves a couple of times before she finally leaves.
I left once, and I took the decision once, and I left once, and I never went back. The initial time I left the home, Freda became a lioness. Freda doesn't want to see no man talk to her. Freda became an insultive person. I don't know, you getting what I'm saying now? I became so rude to people. I don't have respect for no man, nobody anymore. Because this was a man, this was a man I loved with all my life.
Yeah.
A man I so respected. That even if I offend you and you tell me now, don't worry, I'm going to see your husband. I don't mind kneeling down to beg you so that my husband doesn't get to hear that I offended you. It was at that height. And all of a sudden, the person you're looking,
the person you had adored and built an image about.
You get it now. So, and his family didn't help matters too, especially the mother. Even when I went to the mother to tell her, this is what your son is doing, the response of the mother, oh God.
What did she tell you?
She said to me, Freda, now Lagos, you and your husband meet. If you don't love each other again, make una scatter. Do you know what that means? Do you know what that means?
Yes, I do, but you need to explain to the rest of the people.
He said, Freda, you and your husband met in Lagos.
Yeah.
And you all started there and got married.
If you don't want it.
If both of you don't love each other again, you people should scatter.
Now repeat it in pidgin.
And I looked at this woman. If I were to be her daughter, would she have said that to me?
Yeah.
And I called one of the daughters, because two of her daughters are very close to me.
Okay.
And I called one of them. I said, Boss, can you imagine what mommy just said? Now this. He said, is that what mommy said? He said, it's old age. It's old age.
Old age?
Just forgive her. I said, don't go there. Don't try to defend her. Because she wouldn't say that to you.
Yeah.
It's because she never liked me from the onset.
Oh, wow.
Do you get it now?
Yes, I do.
And that brings me back to something. Young ladies out there, hear me and hear me right. When God is not sending you to get married to a man, please don't go in.
Stay single.
I went into that marriage my permissive will. Yeah. Not the will of God, because God spoke to me. And I was like, what will people say? They will say, because he doesn't have money, that is why I left him. Other people that didn't even know me talked about it. I told them, how did I even use, there's a word I said enemy of progress. Look at them.
Awakutaki, that's how we say in Kenya. Awakutaki.
Enemy of progress. A girl that is getting married at the age of 30, you are telling her not to
get married.
30 years. And you know where you know why? Because the third born in my family got married before every one of us. She got married at the age of 23. You understand? It was after her first child, the second one, that was when I got married at the age of 30. After 1 year or thereabout, then one next to me, which is the second born, got married. And that was how everyone in the family got married. Well, you know. So
they were all looking at you and they were wondering, you're the first child, why are you not getting married?
But luckily my family and the family I came from were not like that.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not into
those things. Okay.
My parents are learned. Okay. They travel now, so they know. They see. They know, and especially being in the law, they understand my destiny and her destiny is not the same.
Yeah.
And
that's one thing parents miss out on, especially if you want a certain pattern. The first one must get married. The second one follows.
It shouldn't be that way. Because the third one came and opened the door for every one of us. You get it now.
Yes, so, I do.
And she is the first person to give the first two grandchildren in the family. And we so adored that baby girl. She's a graduate now. She's a big girl. You understand? So people should please don't go into marriage because of love. You end up, it's better you go into that marriage that you are able to like this person enough to marry, not love, because love is not enough to keep marriage.
Okay.
That's just the truth. And never you go into marriage because what would people say? People are not going to be in that marriage with you. When you're suffering it, they will be there. They will only come and rejoice and tell you congratulations. When you are suffering it, even your parents won't be there when you're going through the pain. So they should please not go into marriage by their own will, but let it be at the will of God. Most times the will of God is not even looking good. When you see the will of God, oh God, you are like, you want to stone this, what kind of, you know? But if you can take your time and understand how God does his things, you will know that definitely that person with you become a greater person in future. Because I went in and I went through hell. And I asked myself, I said, God, why am I going through this? My late aunties, because I had two aunties and my father, they are just three. Both of them never left their husbands' homes. And you could imagine those days where they push you at the age of 12, 13 to go and marry. And they are dead good old age to the extent they died. None of them left. My father and my mom never separated for one day until the death of my mom about 9 years ago. You understand? And I asked myself, God, why? Why am I the first? Because I checked my father's lineage. I checked my mother's lineage. There was nothing like divorce or separation in their family, in their lineage. And I'm like, God, why would I be the first? I went through that pain for years. And God started healing me about last year. About last year. I started receiving healing. Because each time
So it took a long time for you to get
Yes,
healed.
because each time I remember, do you know the pains to raise those children alone? Their father not involved in their life. Their father doesn't even know anything about them. It has been me, everything. I'm the father, the mother, everything they know. Sometimes you don't even have money to get bottled water to drink. Sometimes you don't even have money to pay the kids' school fees. They are out of school maybe for a section because there was no money to pay their fees.
Yeah.
I went through hell, sweetheart. I went through pains. Sometimes I go behind my bathroom door, close the door, and I begin to cry because I don't want my kids to see me shed tears. You get it now? So I've gone through a lot. I went through a lot. I went through a lot. Wow. And that made me to be stronger, wiser, and my self-esteem became high.
Before I ask you about straight talk and save a life, you left us at the mother-in-law story. You left us hanging there. So what happened after you told your sister?
When I told her, the sister was like, I should forgive the mother. That the mother is old age, menopause. She called it, don't worry, don't mind her. It is mama pause that is disturbing her.
Mama pause. Okay.
And I'm like, no, don't go there. Because if you are the one, she won't tell you that. And I was expecting them to call us or call his attention. They never did. Yeah. They never did.
The whole time?
They never did.
Did they ever know you miscarried?
They know. Why would they know? They knew.
And they did nothing?
They knew. It was even the mother that was even telling me, if you know that you cannot give us a child, why don't you just leave the marriage? They knew.
Hey?
They knew.
How can people be this insensitive?
Yeah, because what she wanted for her son was not what she got. Because she was like, he is the favorite son. He's the fifth born in the midst of 8.
Okay.
And his late father happens to have this strong bond with him. So every word of the late father, he knows. So when the father died, he had to bring up, so he's the most loved in the family. So what she was expecting, there's a lady, she was thinking this, she will push to the son. But the son refuses and says if it's not Freda, he will die.
Oh, wow. So he's also beating you, but he's also saying that if it's not you, he will die.
When we were dating, there was nothing like, no, he was a sweet man. He was my best friend. There's something he told me which worked for us for a while. He told me, he said, Freda, if we have misunderstanding, please don't allow it to get to the next day. Let's settle it. And never allow a third party into our issues. We agreed. Do you get it now? Another agreement is this again. Family members will not come and live with us. Family will not come and live with us. They can come and visit, but not living, which we agreed. Do you understand? Which we agreed, and that was it. So before we knew what was happening, it was after the mother's visitation, the very first time the mother visited my home. Mm-hmm. The very first time in her life. And that was the last time she ever came before I left the home.
Okay.
She came. It was something else. She only spent 5 days. And that 5 days was hell for themselves, not for me.
Hold that thought. Hold it. We are coming back to that. That was hell for them, not for me. We need to take a very short break, but we are coming back. Do not touch that dial. If you've been listening to Bishop Freda share her story, my Lord, hey, people have gone through a lot. But anyway, we are taking this short break. Usipote your point, tumeacha kwa your point ya mother-in-law. We are coming back.